Hey guys, Marcos Villegas here with Paulie Malignaggi in Las Vegas. And Paulie, first off, how are you doing, man?
Cool, cool. I'm just enjoying the dinner. The cocktail hour, always the best part.
Yeah, I know, right? Some guys here are a little saucy. Not you, Paulie. You're good. Seeing it now, you know, what do you want to do now?
I don't know. I haven't given it a lot of thought yet. You know, I'm going to just continue to work and enjoy the summer, and then you know, make up my mind later on. I think it's too soon right now.
Yeah. No, looking back at the fight, give me your thoughts. You know, when you seen the tape, you know, what went on through your mind in each round, and then when the fight was stopped.
I actually didn't see the video at all. No, I haven't seen the video. But I'll tell you, during the fight, I was thinking this guy's very strong. I remember every time he landed, it was like, whoa. I was like, I remember almost like doubting it, like, is this guy really hurting me with every shot? And I remember kind of trying to psych myself up, thinking like maybe I'm not mentally into it right. I remember like calling myself a pussy, like, come on, like, pussy, like, he's not hurting you, like, come on, man. Because, you know, I don't get hurt that easily, and for every shot to be hurting me like that, it was like, it was almost bothering me, like, this isn't supposed to be happening, you know? So I continued to try to press the issue, so to speak, and then he got me out of there completely. And I didn't know the referee stopped it. In the moment when I went down through the ropes, I remember putting my hand on my face, like trying to get the light out of my face for a second, and just being like, my God, like it's just crazy, like, and then just realizing in a split second, like, oh, I gotta get up. I only got 10 seconds, you know. Yeah. I didn't realize the ref had stopped it already, because by the time I remember trying to roll over and seeing everybody in the ring, but it was just like a blur. And then when I got to the hospital, and then when they told me, you know, I was vomiting all the way there and all the way at the hospital, and then when I stopped vomiting and I wanted to leave the hospital, they told me, no, we can't let you leave because we need you under observation, because there's a hematoma behind your ear which could start bleeding, and we have to keep you under observation and make sure it doesn't. That's when I realized this was serious, you know, because at first I just thought, man, maybe I just got blitzed, you know. But when they told me the damage I had, then it made me realize, yo, this was kind of serious, you know. And so when the doctor said that, when they told me that, it started dawning on me, like, man, that's crazy. I've less than 4 rounds to have almost had this crazy situation where I would have needed emergency surgery, and a guy who hasn't had a knockout in 2 years. I was like, this guy was really strong, you know, for what I expected, you know, from what the facts would lead me to believe anyway going into the fight. So that definitely threw me off a little bit, but you know, just glad to be healing back little by little.
You didn't suffer any concussions or anything, did you?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I had they told me I had a massive concussion. So I'm still dealing with some of the symptoms. But again, I think anybody, you get caught and, you know, you can get hurt and whatnot. I have a reputation to be pretty durable. So from the perspective of me getting stopped like that in a few rounds, I was more assuming I just got blitzed. But once I got the news from the hospital that the damage was that real, you know, it definitely made me think deeper. Like, man, that's crazy. That guy was really strong. You know, like I didn't anticipate that from a guy who had fought much less opposition than myself in 2 years and not come close to knocking a lot of them out. You know, and so it kind of threw me off. That's for sure. When I got that news at the hospital, where you have to stay here for this reason, it kind of like shocked me and put things into perspective for me in that way. But, you know, luckily I'm healing up, and really that's all you can ask for.
Is that part of the reason why you haven't been wanting to watch the tape? Because of everything going on and you just don't want to be reminded of all that?
No, I don't want to watch the tape, because if I watch the tape, I may want to fight again. So, and I don't know that I want to fight again. I want to be able to make up my mind on a clear head, you know. And if I watch the tape, I know myself, I'll want to fight again. And so I don't want anything clouding my mind when it comes to making that decision. I just want to make that decision on a clear head. And so I don't think I'm going to make that decision anytime soon, so I haven't watched the tape, you know.
Based on making that decision, you know, what do you feel that you're going to take into consideration?
There's a lot of things. I mean, you know, guys that suffer this kind of concussion in other sports, kind of, I've seen, you know, in football, I remember Al Toon on the Jets, the wide receiver, you know, I watched grow up watching him. I'm a hockey fan. I remember Pat LaFontaine and Eric Lindros on the Rangers, the New York Rangers. Guys that had concussions that were this severe were susceptible to them once they had them, you know, and they kind of had them over and over again until they needed to retire. So what's the translation to that in a boxer? Does that mean that if I'm like that, then I don't take as good of a punch as I used to take? I don't know. You know, I don't know if that's the translation in a boxer as opposed to another sport. And if I don't take as good of a punch as I used to take, does that leave me at risk to get knocked out even against a guy who's not even on my level? So, you know, definitely something like that would influence my decision as far as maybe, you know, you're better off not doing it. But, you know, then there's other options. You know, am I hungry to get back in there? You know, as a fighter, sometimes you feel that fighting defines you, and you feel like you can't really feel whole unless you're in combat, you know. And you know, obviously money, if something comes up where there's a lot of money on the table, you know, or if I'm offered a kind of a money fight, you know, do you just throw that away and don't take it, you know? Because even if I am comfortable financially, we can always use more money, right? I mean, so you know, I think it's more of what's worth it and what's not, and I'll consider all that in the coming months as far as what's worth it and what's not, once that time to make that decision comes. And right now I don't feel like that's the time. I feel like I want to just chill out, enjoy the fights, enjoy the big fight this weekend, enjoy the summer for sure, and then think about that afterwards, you know.
You personally, looking at your career and what you have accomplished, if you were to stop right now, are you happy?
No, but I always knew when I retired I would never be happy with my accomplishments, even if I was the best fighter in the world. I wouldn't be. I'm just that kind of person where I always want to achieve more and do more in something that, you know, I dedicate myself to. If I don't dedicate myself to something, then I could care less. I mean, I'll be honest with you. For some reason, when I was in school, I didn't want to go to class, so I could care less how my grades were. I could have cared less at that time what anything was going on. But when I dedicate myself to something that I've dedicated myself as much as boxing, I always knew, and I told myself when I started this, when it's all said and done, no matter what you do, you know you're not going to be happy. So by that perspective, you know, I kind of always knew that decision would always be tough, but it has to come eventually for everybody.
Paulie, thank you very much. Certainly appreciate it. Here with Paulie Malignaggi, Marcos Villegas for the Boxing Channel.